What's up, y'all? And welcome back to another episode of Dad Needs to Talk. I am your host, Robert, aka Father of Vash, and today we're going to be talking about my thoughts on Dai Dark Volumes 1 and 2, as well as My Hero Academia, Heroes Rising movie, and lots more. So let's get to it. Alright, what is up, y'all? We are back for another episode, another show, another opportunity. So, as always, if this is your first time here, welcome. But if you're a returning listener, then welcome back. Y'all already know what it is. If you are not already, make sure you are subscribed to the podcast on whatever podcast platform of your choice, as well as make sure you're subscribed to the Dad Needs to Talk YouTube channel so that you can see my lovely, hairy, silver-haired, covered face. But yeah, so go do all that stuff, and yeah, man, it has been a roller coaster of a last week, to say the least. But we are making it through it. But just a couple of general housekeeping things. Really, the only real thing really is a couple days ago, I had did what I call a September manga haul video on the YouTube channel, where I pretty much cover and show off all the manga that I picked up over the course of the months of September and October. And since I didn't do it for September, I just combined them together. Thus, September was born. I don't know, and I kind of like that weird naming convention. Cause honestly, I'm thinking about, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I will just do every other month, so that I can just combine the multiple months into a new name. So maybe, around Christmas time, or at the end of the year, I'll just do one for November and December. Maybe call it a No-cember or something. But we'll see. But yeah, go check that out. Cause like I said, I had picked up several new manga, which actually I'll kind of tease y'all and show y'all a little bit of preview at least on the video version. This is a taste of everything I had picked up over the last couple of months. So I guess, you know what? I'll just go just a quick rundown. But like I said, I still hope you go and check out the video. But I pretty much picked up 20th Century Boys, Perfect Editions, Volumes 4, 5, and 6. I Am a Hero, Omnibus 1 and 2, Sweat and Soap Volume 2, Amanon Volume 1 and 2, Blood on the Tracks Volume 1, Old Boy Volume 1, Karate Survivor Volume 1, Dai Dark Volumes 1 and 2, which I'll be talking about later in the show. Level 1 Demon Lord Volume 1 and 2. Don't have Volume 2 on the screen right now because it's a little bit too much cheeks showing. and then Goldfish Volumes 1, 2, and 3, whole series. So yeah, go check that out and let me know what y'all think. So yeah, and I guess other kind of housekeeping thing, I'm kind of going back and forth on this, and this is something that's kind of been on my mind for a while, and I need to just make myself do it. But I think more than likely, I think I'll probably potentially take next week off of just doing no podcast, no nothing. Maybe, I still might pre-record something small because it'll probably kind of be perfect timing because next week is also Vash's 4th birthday. So maybe I'll do something, maybe I'll pre-record something regarding him and that whole journey to fatherhood with him. But we'll see, I don't know. But just just tentatively, as of me recording right now, I'm potentially planning on no primary episode next week, but we'll see. Like I said, I still might pre-record something just to have something go up, but we'll see. But just because y'all already know, I've talked about it before, but I think just exhaustion and stuff is finally starting to catch up to me. It's kind of why I've started like to fall behind on doing like the different individual manga reviews and stuff, just because I'm just not in the right headspace for some of that stuff. But so yes, I think I'm just overdue to take a step back and recharge, even if it's at least for a week. And I will also say and hope and ask that y'all send me some positive vibes as well. I'm not going to get into any details yet because I don't like to, or I try not to talk too much about stuff, while stuff is still in motion. But potential opportunity for me, trying to think how to skate around it, but basically just know that window of opportunity may have been left cracked open, so I might be sneaking through the window of opportunity soon. So we'll see how things kind of plan out with that. But yeah, y'all just send me, thoughts, prayers, good vibes, all that good stuff, that this stuff kind of works out. Because if it does, it could be very big and life-changing for me and my family. So that's all I'll say on that. But yeah, and and I want to just give a quick shout out to somebody. I'm gonna be very vague because obviously don't want to state no names or whatever. But a new friend, a fellow parent, me and my wife met today. If you are listening to this, you'll know. Me and my wife met you and your lovely daughter today, and just want to give a shout out and hope y'all are well, and glad we got to meet y'all, even if the circumstances was a bit weird. But just know I'm very happy to have met you and to be of some help in this situation. Like I said, just speaking vague, the person, like I said, if you're listening, you'll know. But yeah, shout out to you and your family. But yeah, so I'm trying to think. I don't think I have like too much else like life-wise I'm gonna talk about. Yeah, just business as usual. My son, my oldest, both of his basketball teams both had tournaments on Saturday. So he literally played, I think, 7 basketball games between both of the teams Saturday. So he was exhausted, to say the least. And the crazy thing is that, the coaches know each other. So I think that they kind of like work together on their schedules, because you could tell because of how the games are spaced out. But it would be like he would play one game. Like the first game was like 8 a.m. Saturday. And the last game was like 8 p.m. And throughout the day, Saturday, it'd be like, okay, game at 8, then another one at like 8:45, then like at 11. But it was like alternating teams. So like he'll play like a game or two for one team, get a little break, have to change jerseys, go play for the other team for a game or two, little break, change jerseys again, go back to the other team. And that was like an all-day thing Saturday. So shout out to my wife. She took on tournament duty throughout most of the day Saturday, and then I took care of the game Saturday night. So yeah, busy lifestyle, and yeah, so you already know. But yeah, so that happened. Our kittens are a week old, and some of them have started to open up their eyes. So oh boy, it's just house full of kittens everywhere. But it is what it is. They're very sweet and cute and fluffy. But yeah, so I think let's go ahead and just kind of dive in. I think that's pretty much, I'm going to kind of keep housekeeping and stuff pretty short this week. So let's see. So I want to touch on a little bit of news. Let me get it pulled up here. So, we're going to start with some news, some very big news. One of my favorite wholesome manga is getting an anime. Freaking Spy Family got confirmed for a anime series, and it is going to be a collaboration between Wit Studio and Cloverworks, and it's going to be coming out next year sometime, 2022. So very hyped, very, very excited for that, because, you know, those of you that have been listening to the podcast for a little while, y'all know how much I love Spy Family. And of course, like, there's been rumors for, feels like majority of this year, and speculation, like rumors that there was an anime going to be coming, but nothing official. Well, today, with the release of the new chapter, the new manga chapter, they confirmed that yes, a Spy Family anime is on the way, and it'll be gracing us next year in 2022. So super excited for that. And I guess just a little synopsis for anybody that might not know what Spy Family is. So Spy Family is a series that runs in Weekly Shonen Jump, where basically the main character, he is a spy, and he ends up getting tasked with this mission where one of his targets is like the head of this school, but the only way to get into the school or whatever, get close to it or whatever, is basically you have to have a child enrolled in the school. And thus he sets out on a mission to form basically a fake family. Well, what he doesn't know along the way is that the lady that he ends up meeting and then getting her to help him or whatever. Of course, nobody knows that he's a spy and what's going on or whatever, but ends up convince her to help him or whatever. She is a assassin. That's her secret identity. And their daughter that they also adopt, she is a telepath. So spy, assassin, and telepath. And so it is a wholesome, funny series, because you have the mom and dad who are trying to keep their secrets from each other, as well as just everybody in general. But then you have this little girl who can read their minds, so she knows about their secret identities and stuff. And so it's just like a lot of just like really cool and just like funny antics that happen regarding that situation and stuff. So, but yeah, Spy Family. Look forward to it. Like I said, it's going to be coming out sometime next year, so fingers crossed. Looking forward to it. So, yeah. So, I guess let's go ahead and, so what I'm going to do today, so I'm going to talk about, I'm going to kind of do like a brief discussion on the Dai Dark Manga volumes, but I'm going to say that for the end of the manga section. And then at the end of the show, which will be the end of the anime and TV section, I'm going to talk about the My Hero Academia movie. And as always, there will be timestamps for everything. So, if you want to skip to certain sections or you just want to avoid spoilers or whatever, there will be timestamps in the description box below for you to, plan and move accordingly with the show. So, with that being said, I'm going to dive right into the manga section. And it's really just like a few things before I get to the Dai Dark stuff I want to talk about. So first off, I just want to give a shout out to Sakamoto Days. They were on the cover of Shonen Jump this week to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of the series. So it's kind of wild to think that, man, it's already been a year, and also like, why it's only been a year, just because this series is just so cool. I just really enjoy it. Though I will say, and I know I've said it before, but this is a series I feel like I kind of enjoy more most of the time in a binge read, where I kind of like let several chapters build up and then, read them in bulk. But yeah, so shout out and much love to Sakamoto Days on the 1 year anniversary. So yeah, and I guess I'll just briefly just say like this week's chapter was really cool, really good, and I'm gonna just leave it at that with that. Let's see. Next up, also just give a quick shout out to Spy Family Manga Chapter 55 because this chapter pretty much Yor more or less finished up her mission and what she was doing in relation to all the guys all the assassins and stuff that she was fighting on the roof of the boat. And but while that was going, actually she did it with an assist from Anya, because basically what Anya ended up doing, she ended up convincing the dad to drop her off at this little daycare that they had on the ship so that he can go and do whatever. And so after she gets dropped off, then she ends up finding Yor and throwing her little assassin hairpin thing up top to her to assist her. Of course, by dumb luck, because she just tossed it up there. It distracted the guards. They were trying to sneak. They slipped and tripped on it. Of course, just typical Spy Family antics. But while that was going on, come to find out, there was also a bunch of bombs placed all over the ship. So Light ended up having to go and deal with that stuff. Whoops. Sorry, just trying to look up something. Lloyd. Can't even remember the dad's name, Lloyd. But yeah, so they so Lloyd ends up going off helping to disarm the bombs and stuff. And more or less, that's kind of like this arc is kind of coming to a wrap up. So, but still got a couple of loose ends to tie up. The family that Yor has been protecting, they're about to get on the little lifeboat and stuff. They always the mom and the baby that Yor has been protecting was saying goodbye to Yor. It's very sweet. The little boy ended up hugging her and stuff. So just very sweet, wholesome stuff as always. But yeah, but that's Spy Family. Next up, let's see. I guess let's talk about freaking My Hero Academia. So we got My Hero Academia manga chapter 331, and let me see. What this chapter was titled? I think it might have just been simply just United States of America. I think it might have legit been like that, straight into the point. And of course, the time I need my phone to load is not wanting to load properly. Technology can't fully trust it. Yeah, United States of America. So with this chapter, so of course we continue with what's her name, Star versus Shigaraki, and man, just seeing the way she just continues to use her ability, her quirk, because like at the beginning of the chapter, we kind of get this kind of monologue of Shigaraki, but just kind of talking through how he feels like her quirk works and all this different stuff. And pretty much then Star ends up activating. Okay, this is how she activates her quirk, or this is how the command she gives, whatever she says. The air forms into my shape, but 1,000 times bigger. And so it's this giant. It looks like a giant projection of her, but it's just made of the air. And she just starts unleashing this crazy barrage of some wild attacks. This first one is fist bump to the earth. And she freaking just uppercuts, Shigaraki. She does this freaking crazy clap and stuff. And so I just love like how the panels looked of like this like giant pair of hands just like off to the like side of the panels, and then you just see Shigaraki's body flying across the panels and stuff. Uh, and yeah, and what is it? And then she has all the different guys on her ships to shoot a laser. And then she says the lasers combine into one. And she basically ends up getting like a freaking Zeus's lightning bolt looking thing. And she says United Hypermax Output Laser. What is this? Karanos? But basically it's just like a giant just like laser beam of energy just dropped down on Shigaraki. And yeah, so that's going on. And then she reaches out to this commander named Commander Agpar, which is a pun on, if I remember his name, is Akbar from Star Wars. The one that they always do the meme of, it's a trap. That is what that is what the character looks like. Only he has a mustache. Yeah, he has like a little fluffy mustache. but I love it because we all know how much Horikoshi loves his Star Wars and stuff, and so she calls into him, and basically he says that basically because of her being careless, and that this is a flagrant defiance from the rules, that basically she's probably gonna be stripped of her title and of pretty much everything. Cause what is it? Yeah, it says you will lose more than just your license. But basically she's like, I don't care. That doesn't matter at this point. And so pretty much the chapter freaking just ends with like this freaking barrage of missiles that is being sent from the U.S. for her to like drop down on Shigaraki. So yeah, that is gonna be a freaking wild sight to behold when we get there, when we see that next chapter. So yeah, so but I'm just afraid because we all know this is not going to end well for Star one way or another, and more than likely, she will probably end up. So the way I kind of see it play out is, of course, the first thought probably would be, okay, Shigaraki / All For One is going to steal her quirk. But I also have a feeling that she might put a rule on herself that either will kill her in the process or just straight up causes her to lose her quirk. And I could see her doing something along the lines, and this is something that GB from Worst Gen Podcast also mentioned as well when me and him was talking on Twitter earlier, that she might also impose a rule on herself along the lines of like, All For One or nobody can steal my quirk. Or I'm also thinking like she might also just say like, hey, my quirk no longer exists, or some weird combination. She's gonna do something like that. Or like I said, she might just take her own life, because I have a feeling she's the type to is like, hey, by all means necessary, if that's what she has to do to ensure that her quirk does not fall into All For One's hands, then that's what she would do. So I don't know. We shall see, but that's kind of where my thought process is going. That's where she's gonna end up, the path that she's going to end up going down. So, but we shall see. We shall see how that's going to play out. So, let's see. So, big talk. So, this is what I'm about to do real quick. Hold on real quick before I get into the big manga review. All right. So, we're about to dive into my thoughts and impressions on Dai Dark volumes 1 and 2. So, Dai Dark is a series that is made by the same creator as Dorohedoro, which some of y'all may have watched. That it came out on Netflix. I believe it was back in 2019, if I remember correctly. I still need to go back and finish watching it myself. I got pretty far, but I ended up, for whatever reason, not finishing it. So, especially after I read this, I'm definitely, I want to go back and finish that up. But little synopsis of this series. So, like I said, it's still a fairly new series. There's only two. These still the only 2 volumes out in English right now, with volume 3 coming out in December. But for the synopsis, Zaha Sanko's body, the main character, has great and terrible powers. They say that possessing his bones will grant you any wish, even the desire to become ruler of the universe. But Sanko is still a teenage dude with his own life, and he isn't about to let every monstrous lowlife in the galaxy rip him limb from limb. He and his skeletal buddy, Avakian, will use their dark powers to fend off any murder attempts while they search space for whoever put this curse on Sanko's bones, because killing them might end the madness. So, and then Sanko can celebrate with his favorite spaghetti. So, yeah. So, and as far as genre, their series is, I guess, kind of classified as a sci-fi, dark fantasy, I guess dark fantasy horror comedy. So, cause some of like the art and imagery is very, very gruesome at times, but it also has like a very awesome, well balanced mix of humor sprinkled throughout it. And that's honestly one of the things that I really enjoyed about reading this series was the main cast of characters. So we kind of end up having, by the time I end up finish reading these 4 or both of these volumes, and throughout them, whatever, we kind of end up with this kind of like, sorry if I see if I can get it. These main 4 characters, which, it's the main character Zaha, his little backpack skeletal buddy named Avakian, Death, or some version of Death, like a Death Reaper named Shimada, and then this last person who we still don't really know too much about, but his name is Hajime Daimamaru. So, but yeah, and here is some art of all 4 of them thugging out, doing some stuff. But so pretty much in these couple of volumes, it's a really good introduction to these characters and to their world. As one thing I like about how the story was told across both of the volumes, and it's also another reason why I'm glad that I ended up going ahead and buying both of them, because originally I was going to do like how I've been doing, I'll pick up the 1 volume, read it, give my thoughts, and then if I want to read more, I'll buy it and go on from there. But something told me, it was like, you know what, something about it was saying, hey, go ahead and get both volumes. And I put a little bit of extra faith in this series because, shout out to my friends over at Kami House Podcast, Crystal and Bilal, and Ren as well, but I know Crystal and Bilal for sure have read some of Dai Dark, and I think Bilal might actually be fully caught up with the manga online. But with them kind of giving a recommendation and praise, I was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and just buy both volumes, because if I end up liking it, then I want to be able to just dive right into the next one. And I'm glad I went with that decision. But one thing I like about how the story is structured, or how it's kind of told through both of these volumes, is you get like a chunk of the chapter in the present day, but then in both volumes there's like a section with like a couple of chapters where it goes back to when Sanko was a kid on this like school colony thing named I think it's a Tree Gun or something of that nature. Tree Gun, Tree Run. Hold on, let me see. I think it's Tree Gun. Yeah, Tree Gun. And so we kind of get to see him as a kid, and just his early learnings of dealing with his powers and stuff. Now, speaking of powers, man, like, he has some really dope abilities. So Avakian, he is primarily in basically what I'll call kind of like a backpack mode, but he can transform into basically like his own full adult-sized figure, which is what you see in that image I had shown. So yeah, so him right here, he'll also kind of like compact down into just like a backpack for him to wear. It's just kind of cool. And he also like hosts weapons and stuff. And I love how everything kind of centers around these darkness abilities, the use of bones, the whole theme of bones in general, because we know as from the synopsis is that Sanko's bones supposedly have this like magical power to them, but he also uses like some dark magic, dark powers or whatever to collect other people's bones and stuff. And so I love like the first time that gets revealed. So the first time we see him getting like a combat encounter, he tells Avakian, he's like, hey, my give me my weapon or whatever. And so Avakian, like, his jaw unhinges, and like this like cannon looking thing pops out, and a bone pops out, and it's like, okay, that's weird, but I just love the way he just activates it. So basically like anytime he gets ready to like activate his abilities, he says, "Come, dark flesh," and so the little bone that he has turns into like this freaking just it looks like an axe, but he buries the axe in the person he's fighting into their head, and it's like, okay. And then just like over the course of the panels, we just see like the flesh and everything, muscles, all that stuff just like melt off of the person's body until it's literally just their bones left. And so the first most time I was like, yo, this is very dope, very cool. But yeah, it just like just super cool just seeing him do that. But then it's just like when he does it, of course he's like this goofy teen kid. He's just like, yay, more bones for me. But yeah, it just, like I said, just has really good comedy from there. You know, he collects the bones, but then the bones also act as a currency in the world. So they have this planet that they go to called what's it called? The Dark Nest, where there's this merchant that he encounters, and I don't think that they have her in the like little character thing at the front. No, they do not. But basically he ends up coming across this character that he goes to, that's basically like if you play like any type of like RPG game or any game where you have to go to like a shopkeeper or whatever, he goes to this chick, And what is her name? What is her name? I cannot find her name at all, and that makes me sad. But anywho, she sells all these different like dark orbs, like the armor stuff that he has, more bones, all this different stuff, whatever. So like I said, it's just really cool just seeing like how this world works and operates and flows. And then, like I said, then you get to one of my favorite characters, Shimada Death. Especially when you get to see what Shimada actually looks like underneath all of that garb or whatever. So let's just say Shimada is my favorite character, or just one of my favorite characters already. Uh, but yeah, the character is just super dope. But yeah, these are just like I said, just super awesome reads. And one little cool, dope thing that I loved about this when I got to the end of Volume 1 is they have a freaking crossword puzzle in the back of it that asks you questions based off of what you read, and you fill in the blanks. And then the cool thing that, of course, with me having both volumes, I went and looked at the back of Volume 2. They have the answer sheet for the crossword puzzle for Volume 1, and then there's another crossword puzzle for Volume 2. So I just love that extra little touch, and it just brings just that much more personality to this series. Because along with the crossword puzzle, like between several of the chapters, the author also does these really cool kind of like little just like looks at all the different characters, like, hey, this is what this character looks like in their full armor, or this was like the evolution of their character designs, or hey, it's like, okay, this is what they look like, in this certain suit or whatever. And so, yeah, like I said, I just feel like there's like a lot of love and care that went into both of these volumes, and and yeah, like I said, I'm just super excited to continue to read this when Volume 3 comes out, middle of December. So got pretty much like 2 months or a month and a half to wait. But yeah, I think I'm kind of end that there. But like I said, just if you're looking for, just like I said, just something that's like a little bit more, a little bit more kind of like dark, gory side, but also has like really good comedy and a cast of characters, then Dai Dark is definitely a big recommendation coming from me. So yeah, and I don't think, let me see, sorry, I'll just double check. I don't think there's nothing else I want to say or cover with this, but yeah, like I said, it's just a fun read and just really cool just seeing these characters, and I am just like super curious to just continue to see more of this world and more of their backstory, and see Sanko use more of his powers and stuff. And yeah, and this series, like I said, like with the merchant thing, whatever, it really makes me like, man, this would be like a really dope video game to play, cause he basically gets like a item in Volume 2 to basically makes him to be able to, instead of them always having to travel back to the one location to find the merchant lady, now they can summon her pretty much to any planet that they're on with this like super rare item that they get from her. So that was like really dope, as well as like when they got their own ship. And yeah, so like I said, don't want to go into everything in full detail, but like I said, just wanted just to give y'all a general rundown of that. So, but yeah, Dai Dark Volumes 1 and 2, super duper quadruple thumbs up from me. Highly recommend it. So yeah, go check it out. Like I said, I think both of these were about a little under $15 a pop, and they have, let me see how many chapters was in these. It was a decent amount. think like 6 or so. Yeah, 6 chapters plus each volume also has like a bonus chapter as well. So pretty much 7 chapters per volume. So yeah, but anywho, that's gonna do it for Dai Dark and for the manga talk. So gonna take a quick break and be right back with some anime talk. Alright, so anime talk. So real quick, like I said, I'm not gonna go into like super detail on everything, whatever. But so just want to just say, just briefly and vaguely, no spoilers, but both Jobless Reincarnation and 86 this week, both of them turned things up quite a bit, turned up the pressure a lot. Like, like man, debating about saying anything more or not, but I don't know. Both of these series, I don't even know what to really say. Screw it. I have to. I can't just be vague there, whatever. So let me just start just briefly on Jobless Reincarnation. Spoilers for the latest episode. So, mild spoilers, but it was wild. All this stuff going on, and Rudis ends up running into his dad in this city, and then basically just like the revelation of like, no, like everybody in their town got messed up. Everybody got teleported somewhere else, and the fact that a year and a half he's been venturing off trying to find everybody. Like he has the one daughter with him, but both of his wives, or the wife and the mistress, whatever, and the other kid are MIA. And it's just like when that reality hit Rudis, and he just like, man, I didn't even think. He just assumed that the town didn't get hit, that his family was just, hey, at home, chilling or whatever. But it's like, no, like, hey, they've been out here, in the dirt, toughing it out. But yeah, that was a crazy awakening to reality when that happened with that. And jumping over to 86. So, latest episode of 86. Mild spoilers for that, but just, man, when the freaking, Lord, I can't remember what the freaking enemy is called. Yeah, freaking the Legion. Oh, man. Man. The foresight that Shin, when he kind of mentioned, he tried to warn them, like, yo, hey, things are about to get really bad. Like y'all are gravely underestimating the enemy numbers. And then this episode, when he went to wake up his teammates and stuff, and he just like, hey, it's time. And man, when they show like the battlefield and stuff, and how many Legion are just like engulfing everything, and it's not just all of them going to one point. There were so many of them that they were able to attack multiple countries simultaneously. And so just seeing just that scene was wild, as well as just like the actual action of Shin losing himself in battle and stuff. And man, it was wild. It was insane. But I'm just going to stop right there on that. So next up, I want to just briefly touch on, let's touch on this. So let's touch on Sakugan real quick. And I believe this was episode 4. So Sakugan episode 4. So, man. So, of course, Gagumber gets roped into some mess because him and Mimipu, they get kind of basically get detained by this guy that was at the end of last episode. Kind of find out he's like from like the main government of their world, and so he gives them time like, hey, while things are getting sorted out, y'all can basically kind of like wander the city, and basically it seems more or less that this town was modeled off, based off of France, because of course the big thing they focused on was them getting pizza, and then they showed like some version of like the Roman Colosseum, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. It was so many references where it was really just like some of the characters and stuff were clearly French inspired. But we finally get introduced to this new character, which I can't remember. Let's see what her name was. But she was really, really dope. Let's see if I could find Zacreta. Yeah, she was really dope. So basically, this chick that they run into, whatever, that's on the poster in the purple top, she's basically on the run from what seems like some like mob bosses or whatever. It's like a $10 million bounty on her head or whatever. But I can already tell she's gonna fit in just fine with the crew, just because just like seeing like the way her and Gagumber interacted and stuff. And poor Gagumber, when he was like at the bar trying to pick up ladies and stuff, whatever, and all of them kept on turning him down and stuff. And of course she comes along, she plays along with him, but of course that's just so that she can use him. And yeah, just him getting roped into this whole crazy situation with these mafia people. But yeah, overall, just another cool, another fun episode. Like I said, we have another cool addition to the crew, and so I'm just really curious to see like what's gonna happen on next episode. But Sakugan, another really cool episode. So let's see. Let's do this next. Man, so Ranking of Kings, episode 3. Man, this episode, it just has just so many freaking wild and crazy twists and turns, just because, and of course spoilers, but it's just like everything from Boji being basically just like everybody just like turning, or not everybody turning on him, but basically like them playing him, because the king dies at the beginning of the episode, and we had this freaking weird demon thing come out of his body and kind of like points at Boji, then points at itself, laughs, then disappears. And it's like do all the kings have this demon creature, whatever, inside of them? Very curious to know. But that happens, and then the queen basically takes it upon herself to basically veto Boji becoming king, and they take a quote unquote vote to see who wants him king versus Daida. And of course, Daida ends up winning. And so the next day, when they went to announce it to the public of who inherited the throne, even though their father in his will says that he wanted Boji to be king, they turned the tables and rigged the system. And so while all this is going on, freaking Kage gets captured and put away and in a cell by the snake dude, and he ends up cutting himself loose and setting himself free. And then him and the snake dude basically come to some type of agreement of like, okay, they understand like, okay, the Kage is actually there to help Boji, So he sends Kage on some type of quest, who knows where. Wild, but we shall see someday. But in the process of all this, whatever, we end up finding out that Boji has a really strong bond with these snakes, primarily the head snake, which we got a flashback to, when the queen, the new queen, comes around and she meets Boji when he was like very tiny. And basically, just over time, they start to soften up with her. But basically, like, the thing that like really solidified their bond was when this, at some point, three-headed snake shows up. But it's lost one of its heads. One of the snake's heads, eyes poked out, it's scarred up, looking crazy. Boji ends up getting the queen to use her healing or her magic to heal the snake, and then from there we see like the passage of time. Boji and the snake is bonded. He's like running around playing with it. He sleeps with it, all this stuff, and so he ends up going to present day to the snake now and asking him like, "Hey, have you seen Kage?" Yada yada yada. And the snake is like, "Only thing I can tell you is that yes, your friend is safe, and that he struck a deal with our master to go on a mission for something." And so that happens, and then while this is going on, freaking Daida, in his new quest of power, he ends up tasking the snake dude to go and kill the spear guy, and the other person that basically voted that they wanted Boji to be king. And so we get this like freaking super cool fight scene between them, and yeah, the spear guy, despite having his spear broken multiple times, he does this freaking crazy technique and then gets a good stab on him. And so yeah, so right now he thinks that the snake guy is dead. He's not. Curious to see how that's gonna come into play. But the spirit guy, Apayas, he declares, he's like, "Hey, I will make Prince Boji the king." And so it feels in some ways like some like Game of Thrones type of stuff, where it's like, okay, you have all these players in these different places, like, making their moves, double crossing, betraying, killing, sabotage, all this stuff. It is just so wild, and it just makes me wonder. It's like, man, it's like we doing all this crazy stuff is going on, and this is just our kingdom. And just imagine, like, okay, we have the quest to get Boji to become king, but then what's crazy stuff is going to happen when we start dealing with the other kings from the other nations and stuff. So yeah, but high praise again for Ranking of Kings. If you're not already, please go watch this show. Give it a shot. You will not regret it. Alright, so next up, let's talk about Blue Period. And so with this one, I mainly just want to just give a shout out to just this series. I love and I enjoy that it releases Saturdays, because the last couple of weekends, it's more or less what I watch when I get up Saturday morning. So it's kind of like a nice, peaceful series to watch in the morning as I'm eating my breakfast. And so I just really enjoyed this episode because, and I guess just as a reminder for anybody that forgot, Blue Period is a series that's basically about the main character wanting to become an artist, like a drawing artist. And so yeah, so this episode, one thing I really just enjoyed about it was the main character, still of course trying to find his place in this art world, and like seeing how he might be super critical of something that he draws or does, but then somebody else is like, no, this is freaking fantastic. And so we kind of have this moment where one of the characters, so I can't remember his name. Let me see if I can find his name. Shoot. Hopefully I ain't spoiling myself. Takahashi. So there's a moment like later on in the episode where basically Takahashi more or less says that the main character Yaguchi, that basically he shouldn't be there, and talking about how he's always had it easy growing up, and just making all these crazy wild assumptions and just like talking down on him. And so I loved how Yaguchi ends up like going and basically just like pouring his heart and emotions into his art, and we end up just getting just like this very beautiful painting that he does, that is just like very striking, to where even like the instructor says something along the lines of like, yo, like, hey, this is awesome. And I can basically, she was saying like, I can basically, she can feel the energy oozing off of this image. And so yeah, so I just, like I said, I just really just wanted to highlight that episode this week, just because just the way that they just showcase emotion and stuff through art, and it kind of just makes me think about it, like even though it's not exactly the same, but just like how I might be super excited to talk about something or discuss something or whatever on the podcast or in a YouTube video or whatever, and if it's something that I'm super passionate about, whether it's positive, negative, happy, angry, sad, whatever, and I can just pour it out into my work, into what I'm doing, or even like when I'm jotting down ideas, whatever. So, but that's just like something super awesome. I've just like really been loving and enjoying about Blue Period, because like I said, even though I know I don't talk about it every week, it is something that I am still keeping up with, and it's just something just like very calming to watch, but also like gives like a very realistic look at I know like several people in the community that I'm in, like the podcast and content creation community, that are actual like artists or have been artists, or draw stuff, whatever. They've really taken a super liking to the show, and even myself, like there's just like certain aspects of the show that even though you might not be an artist, if you're a content creator, whatever, or just a normal person, like I feel like this show has something in it that we can all like super relate to. So yeah, so Blue Period, go and check it out. Highly recommended. Like I said, airing on Netflix. Okay, one of the last things I want to talk about today before I get to the My Hero movie at the end. Young Justice seasons 3, and then the current one. So season 3 Outsiders and season 4 Phantoms. So just surface level first before I get. Oh, this was a wild binge ride this weekend. So I literally watched probably knocking on. How many episodes would that be? Probably like close to like 20 something episodes, because I don't think, so season 3 came out at the beginning of 2019. I had watched like a handful of episodes then, but I didn't keep up with it because it was coming out week to week. And I think they were doing 2 episodes a week, I think, when they came back and they were doing season 3. But anywho, before episode 10, like around episode 8 to 10, somewhere in there, I fell off and just hadn't gone back. And so, of course, season 4, Phantoms, just started a couple weeks ago. And so, of course, on the timeline, I'm seeing people talking about it or whatever. And so I was like, you know what? Screw it. let's dive in. Let's catch up on Young Justice, because this is a series that like I really loved and enjoyed back when the first two seasons came out, which is wild seeing how long ago that was, because I just put it up on the wiki. It does not feel like freaking season 1 came out 10 years ago. November 26, 2010 was the first episode of Young Justice. And so season 1 ran to April 2012, and then it rolled right into season 2, which ran from 20 to spring 2013. And then we had a 6-year gap with no Young Justice, and now they've kind of come back a couple of years, semi back to back, and within like a year gap or whatever. But man, coming back. Sorry, it is just like so much that I can't even like fully dive into like everything that I want to, but it was freaking awesome. It was just so awesome, just like watching these characters, just like being reminded, like, yes, I love this show, I love this series. Just seeing, all these, young DC characters as well, like, because of course, Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, they're still in it too, but they're kind of more background on the periphery, whatever. This is more so focused on the younger, as by the name, characters or whatever, and even like some like the ones that like were super young in the first season. Now they're like leaders, and there's even more younger ones coming up. But yeah, just seeing all this stuff going on to freaking the one prince, like towards like the end of season 3, they pretty much just like chose to become king of his home country again, but after he killed that one dude. And so it was just like throughout watching season 3 or whatever, and especially like season 4 now, it just like quickly reminded, like, hey, yes, high stakes, characters can and will die, and it's these characters dealing with trauma, learning how to process these different things or whatever, and it can be brutal at times. But like I said, it's just so good, so freaking good. And of course, I freaking catch up on the freaking giant cliffhanger, cause this season pretty much is like these first few episodes more or less started off and focused on Connor and Megan and Beast Boy going to Mars for Connor and Megan's wedding. And of course, there's a lot of like mental stuff going on, especially on Beast Boy. And honestly, granted, I know he was under the influence of like some mental stuff or whatever that was being pressured on him. But there were definitely like certain points where I'm like, yo, dude, you need to chill, cause you just screaming at people, you just jumping to conclusions. Beast Boy was wild, and like I said, I know it's not all 100% his fault, but some of it is, But it was just, those are some freaking good episodes. The whole mystery of them learning and piecing together how the king of Mars had died, how that tied in with these like mysterious attacks going on and different stuff, to Connor more or less seemingly sacrificing himself to freaking dive into freaking lava to help defuse this bomb, not knowing that somebody else has snuck in and put a thing of kryptonite with the bomb device. So when he was destroying the bomb, he was also releasing kryptonite into the atmosphere. And so, yeah, it was just super wild, just like that realization when Superman came in. He's like, oh, okay, he's under the lava, I'll go get him. And then, like, soon as Superman got close, just like his energy just immediately got zapped out of his body. But Young Justice, super awesome. Like I said, I don't want to harp and drag on it too long, whatever, but just want to say I'm very happy that I spent a day and some change binging and catching up. Because season 3 is 26 episodes, and like I said, I wasn't even to episode 10 yet. So that was like 16 episodes of that, plus the 4 episodes of Phantom. So yeah, about 20 something episodes, a little like right at 20 episodes that I watched and caught up on. But it was super, super worth my time to do so. So, whoops, took away the wrong thing. And just in past, I'm not even going to put this on a timestamp, but I'll just say I'm getting closer to finishing Violet Evergarden. So next time I do the podcast, I should be able to give my final thoughts on that. And I might even get to check out the movie as well, since I'm going to have a little bit more time. But I think I'm like on episode 10 or so of Violet Evergarden. Super good, super good. But let's kind of transition real quick, take a little break before we come back and talk about the My Hero movie. All right, so let's kind of end the show off with a little brief talk. I'm not even going to make this super long, but like I said, just to give my general thoughts on the new My Hero Academia movie titled World Heroes Mission. So, I guess surface level. I'll say surface level before I get into any details or whatever or specifics, but I'll just say surface level. It was okay. For me, it did not reach the heights that second movie, Heroes Rising, did. It just didn't. It couldn't, just because of the stakes that was put in front of us with that second movie. Because literally, I still remember that final fight scene with, and I guess spoilers for anything before this movie. So if you haven't seen the second movie or whatever, tune out, skip ahead or whatever, or come back next week or next episode. But the ending of that second movie, where you have freaking both Deku and Bakugo with One for All, and just the crazy visual feast before my eyes of both of these characters doing these like super crazy, humongous attacks. It's looking beautiful, smooth and fluid. I'll never forget, because that was like one of the last movies I saw before the pandemic last year. But I just won't forget it. It was just I like, there was like a good chunk of like that final fight that I was literally just like mouth, just jaw, just what am I watching? Like sitting up at the edge of my seat, just yo, what is this? There were some cool moments in this movie. Especially like when Deku was using Black Whip at certain points in the movie, whatever, that looks super dope. Just seeing him swing around like legit Spider-Man, ducking and dodging stuff, whatever. That all looks super cool. But the main villain, he was and yeah, like I said, I will say there was like some aspects of the movie that I really enjoyed, because there was a moment where it was basically kind of like, oh, this person you thought was trustworthy is actually working for this other group or whatever. And honestly, it kind of gave me vibes. Y'all know I've been slowly but surely, maybe not steadily, but reading through 20th Century Boys manga. And if you've read that or know about it, I'll just say the Friends situation, and about people being part of the Friends that you probably would have never suspected. And there was a moment here where that happened, where somebody kind of hinted like, oh no, okay, you're actually working with them. But that was something that was like a part I enjoyed, and that's something I kind of wouldn't mind if we kind of like delve into that a little bit more, like the mystery aspect of trying to solve this case and this mystery or whatever. And I guess I really didn't even say what this movie was about, just surface level. But at this point, if you're listening to this part, you probably already know that yes, this takes place during the time when Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki were at Endeavor's agency for like a training or whatever, basically for the upcoming arc or whatever with Shigaraki them. And so basically they're going on this mission, and like all the characters get dispersed to various countries across the world. We actually get to see the Egyptian hero in this movie, who also got introduced in the manga a few chapters back. So that's kind of cool getting to see him in action and stuff. But yeah, you know, I will say, and I feel like this was like a highlight for everybody, but the kind of like filler character, what was his name? Sorry, I'm trying to see if I can find that character's name, because I want to say Rudy or whatever. Roddy Soul. Awesome character. I really enjoyed his character. And even once we got the reveal of what his quirk was, but he was just a really cool character, just somebody out there trying to do what he can do to provide support for his family, for his younger brother and sister that he has to take care of by himself. But yeah, I really enjoyed him. I really enjoyed. There was this villain named Belos. She was had like this like bow and arrow archer type of quirk, which I thought was super dope. Her scenes were like some of like my favorite of the movie. But yeah, but like I said, overall it was okay. I will say, and I don't necessarily want to put this all, you know, or put any blame on the movie doing this to me, whatever. It could have legit just been me, just a combination of things, whatever. But I legit dozed off a few times in the movie, especially like towards the end. I dozed off multiple times. It was bad. Now, take into account, it was Friday night, so I had worked all day at work. I went to a 10 p.m. showing, which of course with previews and stuff, whatever, which means it really didn't start until, you know, 10:30 probably, whatever. So yeah, so by the time we used to the final fight, it was, you know, knocking on like 11:30, going into midnight or whatever. So maybe it was a bit of exhaustion just from a long day of work, then family stuff, and then going to see a super late movie. But I don't know, because heck, I wanted to see Dune, which was a 2.5 hour movie, late at night on its release night or whatever. Same thing, I went to go see Shang-Chi on a work night. Good, I didn't see that super late, but I don't know, you know. Which, like I said, it's just me. Like I said, I enjoyed parts of the movie, but like I said, definitely not my favorite of the bunch. Like I said, some cool highlight moments, but overall, I just, you know. But like I said, part of me also, I wouldn't mind going to watch it again, but in different circumstances. Like, hey, maybe going middle of the day, early in the morning, whatever, and make sure I'm fully rested and stuff too. And who knows, maybe I might like it better on a second viewing, but on this first viewing, like I said, it was okay to pretty good highlight moments, but you know, like I said, maybe I dozed off a couple times, but like I said, I don't want to put all of that onto the movie itself. But yeah, but I think with that, that's gonna do it a wrap for this episode. Let's see. Yeah, but like I said, still, hey, if you get the opportunity to go watch the movie, then hey, go watch it, and you know, be a judge for yourself. Make that judgment call yourself for how you feel about it. But yeah, so let's go ahead and just wrap this bad boy up for the week. And that's going to be a wrap for this week's episode of the podcast. As always, thank you for listening. And I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts on Dai Dark Volumes 1 and 2. Like I said, make sure to go check it out. You know, like I said, go like I said, especially if you are a fan of Dorohedoro, or you just looking for just some good dark fantasy comedy stuff. Also, let me know what you thought of the My Hero Academia Heroes Rising movie. Did you enjoy it? Have you had a chance to go see it? If so, tweet at me, hit me up on Instagram, wherever. Let me know what you thought. And yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. As always, make sure you subscribe to the podcast on all streaming services, wherever you get podcasts. Make sure you subscribe to the Daddy's Talk YouTube channel so you can get all the updates on everything that I do. Make sure to go check out my manga haul video for my September pickups. And yeah, and like I said, we'll kind of play it by ear, but we'll see how things go next week. So like I said, there might be a chance there might not be an episode next week, but just follow me on all my socials at Danny's Talk on Twitter, Danny's Talk Podcast on Instagram, and go to dannystalk.com for all that and more. But y'all have an awesome week as we have wrapped up spooky season and we getting ready to go into the feeding frenzy. We're supposed to go into the No Shave November, whatever other stuff you do or do not do in November. And let's get ready for some cozy season because it's starting to get a little bit more chilly outside. But anywho, enough rambling. Y'all be easy. Y'all have an awesome week. And I'll catch y'all in the next episode. Bye and peace.